Hello everyone.
Hey, hey.
Welcome back. We've got another video for you today, clearly, which is why we're here.
On the screen. Yeah.
Today we wanted to talk about things that we wish we would have known before we had a baby. Not like things that like would have made us rethink having a child. Mm-hmm. Nothing would make us rethink that. No. But just like things that we feel like nobody talks about, or if they do, it's like not to the extent that you get, if that makes sense. If you haven't had a child, you don't know.
It's not regretful. It's not like, oh, I wish we would have known this, then we wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
It was just like, there are certain things people tell you, and then you're like, oh, yeah. You don't get it until you're actually in it.
Or even things that you don't, like, no one really talks about because
right.
Either you forget or just things.
Let's not waste any more time. Number 1.
Sleep. Should we talk about sleep or lack thereof?
Sleep, that's a big one. I think that's the main one. When Lezl was pregnant, everybody who had kids would be like, hey, make sure you get your sleep in now. And we're like, oh yeah, haha.
And I'm a big sleeper. Like I still take naps every day. But
she's gonna take a nap right after this video.
I am. You cannot sleep enough before having the baby.
No.
And I was very tired pretty much the whole pregnancy. So I would like easily take 2 to 3 naps a day, at least an hour, and it still wasn't enough. I know you can't like stock up on sleep.
Yeah.
And
sleep
cash
credits.
it in later. But it was just like, oh. We went to the hospital 4 times.
Yeah, something like that.
Before delivery and then during delivery. And we found out very quickly how valuable sleep is before you have a baby.
Yeah. But like you said, it doesn't matter. You can't plan for it anyway. Let's say you're young, you don't sleep much anyway, maybe you're in college, whatever the case may be. You stay up for 48 hours or something crazy like that. It's not the same.
And you know that after that 48 hours, you're going to get to a normal night's sleep in a day or 2.
Yeah, so when you have a baby, it's just like you're not sleeping, and then you're not sleeping some more, and then you think you're gonna get an hour or 2 of sleep, and then you don't, and you're woken up, and so it's physically and mentally draining.
Yeah.
But so worth it.
So worth it.
So worth it, but you just can't plan for it. I wish I would have been able to appreciate my sleep beforehand.
Yeah.
Because now it's more precious than gold. That's what I say.
And even like now, Zachariah sleeps easily 12 hours through the night, but the sleep quality isn't the same.
Yeah.
I'm not at 100% peace when I go to sleep because nothing's going to happen, but it's just like, there are little things you think about like, oh, is he okay? Blah, 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 da, da, da. Is he in a good position? And if I wake up in the middle of the night, like the first thing I do is check the monitor just to make sure he's good. And if you're watching this and you're pregnant and you feel like you still need to take care of things and you need to work so hard up until delivery, please do yourself a favor and rest. Because you will not get this kind of rest again until your child is at least 18, I would say.
Yeah. Or not. Maybe your child turns 18 and your body's just conditioned to wake up and not sleep.
Yeah.
Get your sleep.
Get your sleep.
Number 2.
This affected Ian more than it affected me because I was completely out of it.
This one threw me right here. Apparently newborns, they have irregular breathing. Mm-hmm. So like they could be breathing and then all of a sudden they stop breathing for sometimes up to 30 seconds before they take another breath. So we're in the hospital and Lezl's in bed.
I couldn't really walk, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, since he was basically preemie, he got cold really easily. So he got really cold one night. We had to take him to the NICU or something like that, put him under the heater so his body can heat back up. And so I'm there with him. His little hand was holding my finger, and the nurse was there, and she left. And then all of a sudden, he stops breathing.
It's not funny.
His chest up, down, up. And I was just like... I panicked. Oh my gosh, he's breathing, he's never... And then he started breathing again. But it was very stressful. I was just about to shout out to a nurse, call 911, we're in the hospital, what? Yeah, that was, it was scary. So just know that if you have a baby, the breathing is going to be a little funky sometimes, but now we know. Number 3, this more pertains to when we took the baby home.
Yeah.
First night. It's like, wow, we have this new baby.
More like the first week, but yeah, definitely the first night. Our first child, we know nothing.
Swaddle him up, put him down in bed. We're like, wow. We get in bed, and then he's choking. And we're like, oh my God. Oh my god.
They're so noisy and so loud. So
Yeah.
this goes along with like the sleep thing. You could fall asleep, but then you hear them like not dying, but it sounds
They're
like
making
like
all
they're
these
choking.
weird breathing noises, choking noises, and it's
So,
scary.
Again, the quality of sleep, especially while they're still sleeping in
Yeah.
your room, is just not.
Yeah. I think we'll be much more peaceful in the next baby.
Yeah.
But that first one was like,
We'll have the
What
sound
is
machine
happening?
like turned way up.
yeah. Oh
They
man.
make a lot of noises.
I'm gonna add some joy here. When your baby looks at you and smiles for the first time.
Yeah. Ian,
Oh man. I wish I would have known how much that was gonna just like fill my heart. It's so cool.
So Ian went back to work after 2 weeks. We lived like super close to where he worked, so he would come home every day for lunch, which is great because I needed it. And one day he came home for lunch. Zachariah turned his head. I think I had just gotten done nursing him. It turned his head and smiled at him.
Yeah.
Not at me, the one who was providing him sustenance. But it was, I think, 4 weeks later, 4 weeks after he had been born, that he heard your voice and then turned and smiled. And it was so cute. And it's just like,
It was the best.
yeah,
It
it
was
was.
so cool.
It was cool. It was cute to see you guys interact. My heart was broken a little bit, but it's
No.
okay. It's okay.
Aw.
It was cute to see that very first milestone and that
Yeah.
you got to experience it. His biggest thing about working and having a baby was he didn't want to miss any of the milestones. And you got the first smile, you got the first laugh,
Yes.
you got the first word.
Yes.
Basically, Ian was there for every single milestone. So, like, I didn't have to call him and say, he smiled or he laughed.
Right, right.
Zachariah did all these things for Ian.
He knew.
He did know. To segue, babies can switch favorites like that. Obviously, he loves us both so
Yeah.
much, and we know that. But sometimes, like, they really have preferences of who they want at the moment.
And it'll flip. So he may have given me like the first smile and stuff, but just like that, it could just be all about mom.
Yeah.
I come home from work and he doesn't even, I don't feel like he cares, and it hurts my feelings.
I think that Ian's a little more sensitive in that department than I am, so he gets more affected by it than I do, but I think it's because, like, for the first 6 months of his life, you could be his favorite, but it's like, but he's got to eat, and
He needs you for life
can't-
to live, so.
you can't feed him, so
Yeah.
mama's got to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But right now that he's, like, grown, he's not grown, but he's more independent, like, there are little moments where I'm just like, you just want your dada. You want daddy. Like, I went to get him from his nap the other day, and he wanted to play with the bear. And I know for a fact that I cannot play with the bear like Dad can. So I had to get him.
It's a big bear, it's kind of heavy. It's heavy to push around.
But I know that I can't do it. What did I do? Whatever it was.
It's something I do with him.
And he just stared at me like, she's really trying.
Like, what are you doing? That's not you.
But, like, their thing, he doesn't like to be held by anyone right now,
Yeah.
except for Ian. Like, I can pick him up, but he doesn't want to just chill in my arms like he does with you.
Yeah, it's special.
So, babies can flip.
They can
Don't
flip.
take it personally.
Yeah, be prepared ahead of time. They might flip-flop a couple times, but ultimately they love you both, so it's all good. Don't worry about it.
Number 5 or 6?
I think it's number 6. Take it away.
I feel like no one really talks about this, but if you Google it, there's a lot. No one really talks about how painful breastfeeding is, or it can be.
Yeah.
Like we said, Zachariah was pretty much born prematurely, so he was a tiny nugget, and him being tiny, he has a smaller mouth. And all I know is that basically when I started breastfeeding, it hurt so bad for at least a minute.
Yeah.
I would cry
Yeah.
because I was just talking with my friend Crystal about this. It feels like, at least in the early stages, like the first month, maybe a couple of weeks, I've had some friends that said that it didn't hurt at all, and I'm just like, you're lucky. You don't know what I went through.
Some people say that birth didn't hurt. How's that possible?
Yeah, I don't know.
I witnessed that thing. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I did it with an epidural and it still hurt. So, I don't know. Anyway, it literally feels like somebody took a dagger, or, I don't even know. It literally feels like you have little tiny paper cuts all over your nipples, and someone squirt lemon juice and threw salt on them, and then is, like, giving you a purple nurple, all at the same time.
Ooh.
For 30 seconds to a minute in that first month for me.
Yeah.
But also Zachariah was tiny. He was 5 pounds, 15 ounces. I'm sure if I had an 8-pound baby with a bigger mouth, it wouldn't have hurt as much because you're supposed to put like the whole thing in their mouth. But when they're small, they can't quite fit it all in. And so it just hurts. It really does hurt.
I got to witness this. I could tell that it hurt. I mean, it would be to the point where he would be crying because he's hungry. And I can't feed him because he wasn't getting any bottles or anything at the time. It was just breastfeeding. And so he'd be screaming. And Lezl's just looking, like staring off into space. And I was like, I think he's hungry. She's like, I know. I'd be like, are you going to feed him?
I'm here.
She had to like mentally prepare.
I had to mentally
breastfeed,
prepare every time. I'm like here already sweating. I'm sweating right now just thinking about it. It was a hard time. I almost gave up. If you choose not to breastfeed or if you can't breastfeed, no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
Like more power to you. It was just something that I really wanted to do. And I mean, after a week, I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. But I figured like if I can just make it through a month, I can decide then like whether or not to continue. And then after a month, it just got significantly easier. I noticed like if it did hurt when he latched, it was like 3 seconds. And then all of a sudden it was just easy. And no offense, but making bottles or pumping is a lot more work than what I wanted to do. I didn't want to clean bottles. I didn't really like want to pump. I couldn't really pump because Zachariah wanted to eat constantly.
All the time. Hungry boy.
At least every hour.
Yeah.
Just trying to make up weight.
Yeah. But you persevered, you got through it, and it was worth it.
I got through it. It was worth it.
Yeah.
Another serious topic that I don't feel like, unless you go into like postpartum depression, which I guess maybe is another like little pathway into that, is just how alone you can feel. You can be, I mean, we were surrounded by family that came over at least every other day to like help out, bring food, whatever. But especially like when it's 3 a.m. and you're the one up breastfeeding and you just don't know when your baby's gonna sleep through the night. I just felt so alone. I was in so much pain, like physically, mentally. There was just a lot going on and I felt like no one knew exactly what was going on. Like even though he was there with me the whole time, he couldn't know what I was going through. He didn't know like the physical pain that I was going through.
And she couldn't express it.
Yeah.
She couldn't like verbalize it to me, so I didn't.
And even if I could, like there was no way you were going to understand just because you don't. You know, I couldn't explain.
Unless you give me a bunch of tiny razor blade cuts and squeeze lemon and salt on it.
Yeah. You didn't know what was going on down there either. It was just like a lot and then just like a lot of what was going on in my mind. Like I thought our son was blind for 2 weeks. I worried about everything and Google is not your friend. It can be, but for the most part, like
Stay off.
Stay off.
It's like
Google.
WebMD. You have a sore throat and then you leave the website with cancer.
Like I was shining my iPhone flashlight in his eyes to see if he was blind.
If he wasn't then.
Yeah, so I just felt so alone and like even though I had friends that had babies like either in the last year or whatever, you just feel like in that moment nobody knows exactly what you're going through except yourself and you can't really express it, or at least I couldn't. Again, I don't think I had postpartum depression. Maybe I did. Zachariah couldn't be put down for 8 weeks, so one of us was legitimately holding him.
All the time?
All the time. And
even at night? Like, we were like, no co-sleeping ever, and we ended up having to.
Oh, we gotta talk about that too.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So when he went back to work, it was me holding him for, I don't know, 18 hours a day, if not longer, because
the glare off this thing is so bright as the sun goes down. Let me do this. If you think it still looks good, then let's do it. Okay, good.
And then I had to breastfeed him like every hour or every 2 hours. And so, I mean, I was honestly probably holding him 20 hours a day.
Yeah.
I was sleeping with him in a beanbag.
Easily.
I didn't sleep in the bed because I was afraid of rolling over onto him. So if you can get yourself around a community of either new parents or new moms or even like maybe moms your age, and just kind of feel free to text them at any point or call. I know that anytime I had a friend that had just given birth, I would make sure that she was able to call me or talk to me or text me, and I said, listen, I'm up all hours of the night, so you can't ever text too late. I will probably get back to you within an hour or two. So please, if you have any questions or you just need to talk or you just need to vent, talk to me, please, because I know how alone I felt, and it just was nice to like have either through an online community or someone I knew.
And Lezl's really good about like giving advice, or if people are going through something she went through, she's really good about supporting them and saying, hey, I went through this, this is what I did, or this is how I felt. don't worry, just encouraging him or whatever.
Yeah.
So she's really good about that. Reach out.
Chances are I went through it worse.
Maybe.
Is what I found with everyone I've talked to.
Yeah.
Another thing as parents, I feel like, especially new parents, never say never.
Okay.
Just don't do it.
Where are you going with this?
I swore up and down I would never ever co-sleep. Never.
Oh, yeah.
Never. And we did.
We did that. We did
that because we needed sleep. And sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I mean, he'd fall asleep in our arms, and we would take probably, 2 to 3 minutes to lower him as
Into the
slowly
bassinet.
as possible into the bassinet. And even if we did that successfully, within a minute he was up crying
Yeah,
again. So he just
so-
had to be held. So yeah, we did the co-sleep thing. We tried to be careful.
Yeah.
We put up like barriers and stuff like that, and so we couldn't roll over. Or like she said, like we would sleep sitting up, or she'd be in the bean bag a lot of
Yeah.
times sleeping with him.
Because
So
I knew I couldn't roll, so.
yeah, a lot of time spent in that bean bag.
Yeah. I said I would never be that parent that like posts so much of my child on social media just because I'm like, nobody cares. But then,
Or when you don't have a child, you're like, it's annoying. I don't want to see your kid anymore. And now we're like, here, see our kid. See more. Here's more.
here you go.
No shame either. I don't care.
No, not at all. It's just like, this is my life and this is literally what I do. So if you like it, cool. If not, you can mute me now.
Yeah.
Just don't mute me.
I think I got muted by a handful of people.
I'm sure I did too.
A lot of people. That's okay though. I don't care. It's
Yeah.
all good. I got one for Lezl here. Number something. I bet Lezl wishes she would have known to dodge the pee. Now, when you have a boy baby, man, that pee goes straight up in the air. And if you're not ready,
I guess we could label this, we wish we would have known that you need to cover
you need to cover that pee-pee before you start changing the diaper.
every single time.
Like, take a baby wipe, put it over or something. So Lezl got in the eye,
Yeah.
in the mouth,
In the mouth.
everywhere. I dodged it.
You
I was
did.
prepared.
Story time. There was one time that we were tag team changing him, and I don't know what happened. He rolled, and the baby wipe came off, and I just got a straight shot into the eye. And Ian's yelling at me because there's pee on our carpet while we're renting, and we're about
No,
to
because
leave.
Lezl's like this. Oh my gosh, I have pee in my eye. Ha ha ha. And I'm like, what are you doing?
because I laugh when
like,
I'm in
wipe it
pain.
off and help me out here.
Meanwhile, I'm blinded because our son straight
It's like
shot
you
his pee.
ever know those people who like the milk spills and they're just like, oh my gosh, the milk it's pouring out. Oh, oh, I don't know what to do. You pick the milk up and then you wipe it.
Yeah, but
She's
I
just like,
couldn't
oh
see.
my eye.
He's worried about like the pee on the carpet. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm blind.
You're
My
fine.
son blinded me.
He's good. It's all just like what? Breast milk and amniotic fluid
I don't
or
know.
something. I don't know.
It hurt.
Anyways,
And
if you have a boy, be prepared.
Diaper changes with Zachariah were not the easiest.
Yeah, they still aren't.
They still are. But
He's really strong.
he's very strong.
And I'm not lying here because I have to really overpower him
Yeah.
to get him to sit still. But he's got such strong legs. He can flex his glutes and just bam, kick his
Especially back then when he was lighter, he would just like his legs would just be up.
Yeah,
He would
I would like grab his ankles and I'd put his legs up to change him. And usually the baby's legs go like this. He would just flex his glutes and I would just pick him up like up. He would just be upside down, straight, because he wouldn't bend his legs.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny.
Anyway, well, we hope you enjoyed this video. We'll probably do another one of these.
I think our birth story would be good.
Yeah.
A lot happened, and we have some footage like from the hospital that might be kind of fun to do.
Yes, our birth story is
We can go into full
interesting
story
one.
time. Look. Just me slamming doors. Yeah, that was fun.
It was
It was
fun.
kind of fun to remember, and
To remember the pain I felt in my eye.
yeah, the pain I felt.
You didn't feel any pain. You had no sympathy for me.
I felt lots of pain.
We'll talk about how you passed out on another
Hey,
time.
don't spoil it.
For another day.
Don't spoil it. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. If you're having a baby out there and you're watching this because you're about to have a baby,
It
congratulations.
is the best.
Yes.
People tell you how great it is, but you will not understand
Yes.
until you have that baby in your arms. It is
Nothing compares to
Nothing
it.
compares
Nothing
to it.
compares. So congratulations. You're in for the best
ride.
trip of your life.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Like, subscribe, comment, share, tell your friends, give it a thumbs up. If you're giving us thumbs down, rethink that. Is it a threat? Maybe. Do I care? No.
Okay. All right, guys.
We love you.
We love you. We'll see you in the next video. Stay safe out there.